Dark Pistol from Antwerp Roller Derby here announcing at the Harbour Cup 2023 for Game 3.
Hi, I'm Nasty Moves. I'm joining in today for this wonderful game that's going to pit the Killer Bees of Rotterdam Roller Derby against BMO Roller Derby La Colere de Brest, all the way from the west, very far west of France. Brest will be playing in white, and the Killer Bees will be playing in green. You want to tell us more about what we're going to see today, Dark Pistol, in this game?
Well, hopefully we're going to watch a little bit of Derby. Sorry, I had to do it. I had to do it.
Can you tell us more about one of the teams?
Yeah, I can talk a little bit about the Killer Bees from Rotterdam Roller Derby. They'll be playing today in green. We have number 03, Foxy Dizer, 111, Badass, 1313, Rebecca Van Gorgon, 14, Bad Seagull, 19, Sate Scars, 263, The Surge, 404, Runtime Error, 42, Frutike, 65, Rogue, 713, Juicy, Instrumental, 88, Hermione Revenger, and 90, Van Damme, the Muscles from Brussels.
And on the French side of things, we got 098 Crachel, 1000 Chirapate, 106 Saglis, 131 Morsure, 1312 Louisa Destroyer, 1519 Shelby Candy, 22 Maisie Queen, 270 Ben Calais, 295 Full Metal Gambit, 465 Monique La Police, 666 Calamity Cat, 6699 Myanmar, 68 Vero 7, 772 Crépuscule, and last but not least 776 Latic.
All right, so we have number. It's so hard to see from here. I have to apologize, but we're going to do our best to tell you who is jamming and when and what the lines are. But right now we have two teams on the track, and both of them are starting. We have number 03 from Rotterdam Roller Derby, Killer Bees, Foxy Dizer, who has made it out of the pack as lead jammer. They are coming back around, and we also have the Brest jammer number 776, Latique, fighting their way through, and they have made it. The jammer is now coming back into the pack, not able to get through yet, pushing against a really strong Brest wall. The jam is finally called off, and it looks like maybe both jammers have been able to score some points, with Rotterdam scoring 3 and Brest scoring 1. So really good job by both jammers fighting their ways through the pack. Really good job by that Brest jammer to get back around as quickly as possible to be able to score some points as well.
So interesting fact, we have two teams from Brest and we have two teams from Rotterdam. It's going to be interesting to see how these two teams match up against each other. We're off for Jam 2, and it's Brest picking up the lead, and that's going to be Morsure doing the rounds. Having a good look here at Rotterdam, how that's going. I said, by the way, Brest should be playing in white, and I'm going to play in a mauve purple, if you like. We're having a good look at what's going on in Morsure, I believe. Credit track penalty, so we're starting all of this off with our jam from Rotterdam.
So we have our Rotterdam jammer number 03, Foxy Dizer, coming back through for their power jam pass. Both teams trying to play defense and offense, and it looks like the offense from the Rotterdam Roller Derby B team has been able to push its way through. They're coming around for yet another scoring pass. A little bit of defense, solo defense coming through, but Rotterdam's offense was successful and again getting Foxy through the pack to score 4 more points. Let's see what happens now. We have the offense setting up, but it looks like, but it looks like the offense went ahead and set up in defense as the opposing jammer from Brest is now out.
Good work there for sure. And 4 more points on the board for Brest, so we're matched the points now, but you know it always takes a few jams before we find out what's going on. Coming in for another scoring pass, both jammers. Brest in first, out on the outside, quite easily, nicely done, picking up 4 more points. Foxy Dizer on the outside.
lead and then went to the box. This is now a 2-minute jam. So they'll do nothing but score and score all the way until the last whistle.
Yeah, good, nice timing on your part. I saw 2 seconds on the jam clock. But let's have a look. This is jam 2. We have 14-11. So very tight game. That's quite interesting. So our first game today was not a very tight game. It was a very clear leader. It was Rotterdam. And then we moved into a game that was a bit more equal, where Brest took it. And now we're going to see how it's going to go between these two teams. So we're seeing very different styles of games this week.
Absolutely, as is often with the B team from different leagues. You never know what kind of recruitment is going on or how much seniority there is. But Brest B team, the La Colere de Brest, has been able to send their jammer out first, getting lead jam. The Rotterdam jammer is coming up quickly behind them, but the Brest jammer is going to go ahead and call it. And let's see how many points they get for their effort. It will be 2 points. But they're not doing very much yet. I believe both teams are trying to feel each other out, as I said.
Yeah, it takes, I used to say 3 jams, but I believe it takes about 5 jams to find out what's going on.
Sure.
And then halftime is the locker room conversation. We're like, hey, we got to do more of this, we got to do less of this. And then you have a whole different game. In fact, one derby game is very often 2 actual.
It's actually 2 games, that's right.
That's a very coach thing to say, I would imagine, right? I can tell good news for Brest in the lead right now. Wonderful job there from, I can't see too well from there, it's a bit far away.
It looks like 395 to me, but it's, yeah. The Brest jammer is indeed number 395.
Yeah, full middle Gambit, the captain of the Brest team. Both jammers out. A lot of swimming. There seems to be more energy in this game. We do have fresh horses on the turf.
That's true. Now, I don't know how many of them are actual crossovers, so it may be that some of them did play a game earlier this morning, but they do now have the support of some fresher skaters to be able to help them get through this game without as much fatigue.
Speaking of the fresh, Badass for the Killer Bees playing under 111. The shirts already had a different game, but not the players, so that's kind of cool.
Oh, the shirt has had a different game, but not
But still, that was a very good observation on your point. Sometimes people do play more games in a row. Fantastic for your endurance. I've been there, done that. Bought that t-shirt.
Fantastic for your endurance if you have the endurance. So we have Brest now number 776 making it out of the pack. Latik again coming out for another lead jam. Rotterdam's jammer is coming around fast. They will call it. 776 will call it and gain 4 points for their efforts.
That was really nice on the outside. There was just go around, call it off right away. And to come back to our earlier kind of conversation about not letting a jam go along, just calling it off right away. A different tactic, but it is working at the moment. We'll see how that goes. Brest out ahead right now with 25 points, Rotterdam 14 points.
So now we have number 313 from Rotterdam jamming Rebecca van Gordon. Sorry, it's 1313. They are still pushing their way through the pack as number 131 for Brest makes it out as lead jammer Morsure. That bite surely does hurt. Nice little spin on the inside from the jammer, and they do make it through number 1313, able to spin their way and pirouette to finally get out as Morsure is pushing through to get points. Blocked by number 404. Runtime error.
That was a
very good
block.
defense.
Yeah, I saw that. That was really good.
However, they had already passed them, so Morsure still gains those 4 points. Still fun, still good to see that
Still nice
defense,
to see.
still nice to see the effort.
And you know, right, if you hit someone and you don't hit them the right way, you can actually just push them forward, so you're not helping yourself. That's also it's difficult. Timing is everything. That's the lesson to learn there.
It's about timing, and it's also about using your energy efficiently as well. Just making sure that what you're doing has some sort of use so that you don't tire yourself out before the end of the day or hit somebody for no reason.
Oh, okay. Yeah, or get hit for no reason. Okay. Brest doing the rounds. That's fantastic work then by Shira Pate, number 1000, I believe jamming for the first time in this game.
I think
they're going to mix up a lot of different jams. And it's already over.
It's already over. Unfortunately, the muscles from Brussels, I didn't get to see what they would do. I'd like to see that a little bit more. Of course, being someone who lives in Brussels, I'm having a lot of fun with Van Damme.
If both are on, if they
But I don't care. So let's just do 1-1 now.
Okay, there's quite a tumble in this particular jam, but Rotterdam's roller derby's number 03 Foxy Dizer is out for lead. It has been a little bit before since Rotterdam has gotten a lead jam. Now we have number 395 from Brest finally making out, but only after Foxy Dizer has made their first scoring pass. They're calling it, gaining 4 points for their trouble. Really good job by both teams, and I really like that Rotterdam has found a way to get themselves a bit more lead jams. They're having some success there, doing some good offense.
I saw that too. We saw Star Stash as well. They're trying different methods to see how they can get in there. The point difference isn't big, it's only 10-point difference, but I would say this is quite evenly matched at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Now we've got a setup with a 3-1 defense, 1 offense for Brest. The Brest defense is doing very well at holding back 1-3 from Rotterdam, therefore allowing their jammer number 776, Latik, to get out once again with lead, as 1-3, Rebecca Van Gorgen follows very closely. Latik calls it and gains some points for their trouble. We had a little spill right in front of us.
It doesn't matter. It's all fine.
It's always fun.
But we're
It's
having
always fun to see them fall right in front of you, though.
You're a lot of fun. We've also, the jams are just really quick. We're not seeing very long scoring passes either. So we've definitely set the pace now at this point in the game. So it's get point, stop, get point, stop.
It's going a lot quicker.
Yeah, they're going a lot quicker, which means you'll take a lot more energy, but that's two teams, that's how they function with each other. Morseur up against Van Damme. Van Damme up in the front, we're still looking for the lead, and there we have it. Oh, but already got some recycling there for Van Damme. But, the crowd goes wild. That's the Rotterdam crowd here. Noticing that both jammers are out, but let's have a good look here, and the jammer in green coming in for a scoring pass on the outside. Getting recycled, still calling it off. And it's me, it's getting louder in here.
It is definitely getting louder, and it is getting even tighter as Rotterdam is bringing the score up with a couple more lead jams. So that means that we're just going to see probably a lot more nervous energy on the track.
It definitely feels that way.
Now I am noticing that they are setting up with everybody on the pivot line. Sort of an old school way to start. Rotterdam has one player in the box, so they are down with a little bit of a light pack. Rotterdam playing really good defense, making sure that they stick to that Brest jammer, as the Rotterdam jammer, number 03, Foxy Dizer, makes it out for lead jam. Lead jammer, number 1000, Shira Pate, comes out of the pack just afterwards, and the jam is called with a 0-0 score. We've got 2 potatoes up in the air.
Oh, I used to call it communism, but I don't think you can make those jokes anymore. But 2 potatoes. 1 potato, 2 potato. Oh man, we're having a blast here. By the way, who's telling you all this nonsense? Now, Dark Pistol and Nasty Moves, and we're having a good time. I do believe everyone is having an absolute good time here as well. This is going to be a close game, and we're going to continue to watch it. Brest just moved their wall down to sit on Rotterdam, but that was a very easy lead jam there picked up by Brest, just zooming along. That's number 395, Full Metal Gambit, the captain of the team. The Rotterdam jammer out too as well, but the action is all now in the pack, and we don't have time to finish any sentences. It's called off. And that is the pace we've set, which probably means we'll have a lot of jams too in this half.
Not just a lot of jams, but a lot of short jams, which means with every short jam, you are squeaking and squeezing every single point that you can get out of that jam, which means that the jammers are pushing as hard as they can to get around as fast as they can.
And it makes it a very different game than the two other teams that we watch from the same. So
Nobody's strolling around this track.
No stroller derby.
No stroller derby. All right, so we have number 9-0 for the Rotterdam Killer Bees. Van Dam, as I've been saying, looking very much forward to seeing them play. Number 776, Latik, once again, lead jam. Coming back around to score their points. Brest is pushing in for some offense, and Latik is able to make it by with, let's see how many points, 3.
So one of the Brest players fell down, and just fell down like that, and unfortunately one of the Rotterdam players too, and I believe going to be called for the box for not being in the right place at the right time. I know that's not the right penalty, but we understand that. That's just unfortunate. It does happen, though.
Yeah, no, you're responsible for yourself when you fall down, so you need to make sure that you fall small.
Yeah.
So
Like
if
a
you
turtle.
cause somebody else to fall because you weren't responsible for yourself, then that is something that is punishable by the box.
Punishable by punishable. And then not too many penalties. We've had different kinds of games. If we have a chance to tell you a little bit about the situation about penalties, for now, quite a lot of people on track. But as I say that, there's still 2 different players, 1 player from each team in the box. Good news, though, Morceau for Brest picking up the lead. Rotterdam trying to get out of there with a star pass ou a passage de l'étoile. Isn't that beautiful? That's the most romantic French derby word I've ever heard.
There was a derby shop named
I know.
Passage de l'Étoile.
I set you up for that one. I know. Le passage de l'étoile. I remember using that once. Everyone was go, but no, it's a star pass. Un star pass. I'm like, no, it's passage de
Passage de
l'étoile.
l'Étoile,
Yeah. We'll do a little bit of French later just to show off. I mean, to be nice. I mean, to show off. I mean, why not? And yeah. Points for both teams on the board. Having a good look, we've got Brest at 44 and 26 points for Rotterdam.
As we said, every point counts, so squeezing out 1 extra point or 2 extra points on 1 or 2 jams is a serious advantage right now, because with a score differential of
44 minus 26.
18 points.
18 points.
18.
Yeah, 18 points, yeah. Hey, but I'll tell you about something.
Don't make us do math.
No, don't make us. Announcer math is bad. This is the 3rd game of the day. I'd just like to tell you that if you stick around, because you're like, hey, we need more roller derby, because you're like been watching it all. We've got game 4 today. We'll have the Cologne Graveyard Queens play against another team. I'm just silly. Brest Toute Étoile. That means that both those 2 teams will have a second game today, so it'll be very interesting.
So Cologne actually lost their first game today, but Brest won theirs in a much closer game than the Rotterdam-Cologne game. So it will be interesting to see what happens, because sometimes it's just about the time of day that you play your game. I know there are teams that play much better in the afternoon than they do in the morning. Or vice versa. So we'll just see. I mean, maybe it was just Brest is better in the morning than they are in the afternoon. You never know.
310 to 310 points for Rotterdam against Cologne was the first game, just as a reminder. And the second game we had, Brest took it from 248 to 174. But let's get back to what's on track now,
which is Rotterdam's jammer number 1313, making it out as lead jammer, which has really excited this crowd today. And number 1000, Chirapate for Brest, coming up quickly behind them. The Rotterdam jammer has just gotten a forearm penalty, so will be going to the box. Because they were lead jammer, that means that the Brest jammer and all of the players on this track right now will be playing for 2 minutes straight. This is a power jam. Number 1000, Chirapate, is going to try and make it through the pack using the offense, 100% offense, thankfully, of their skaters. They're coming back around for yet another pass. They've already picked up 4 points. their offense comes in, and it looks like the Rotterdam wall has been able to reform and prevent them from getting all the way through. This is
really good offense.
This is also
defense,
called
sorry.
killing a penalty, making sure that the defense can hold the jammer for as long as possible until their jammer comes back in. We're not going to do a jammer switch because Chirapate actually committed a cutting penalty where they stepped a foot outside of the track and then came back in without yielding to any players that were in front of them when they went out. So
That is a lot of penalties. Sorry, I just have to mention that's a lot of penalties
jam.
in one jam. Yeah, we haven't
a
seen
lot
that
of
so
jammer
far.
penalties in one jam.
Yeah, and that's not. Yeah, that's the coach's favorite penalties. No, it's not a lot
That
of
is
fun.
not common.
Not common. Of course, jammers probably get the most penalties, and from what I know, the most penalty that's always given is actually a forearm penalty.
So that's true. Forearm or cutting, and
Cutting for
actually,
jammers,
yes,
yeah.
jammers often get a lot of
When you get a cutting penalty as a blocker, it's just sad. I'm saying that about myself, but
Now
yeah.
we see 4-4. If you're looking at the jam rest, actually the jam ref, the horse whistler, is holding up points that he was holding in his pocket from the last pass of the jammer that is currently in the box.
Yeah.
That means that that jammer, when they come back on the track, of course, has 0 points because they have to do their initial pass. So that makes that jam a 12-8 jam with 2 jammer penalties.
Chirapate, though, obviously back out from out the box. Van Dam joining in for Rotterdam in this jam. And let's have a good look at development. A whole lot of just a woods of colors there. Good news, though, Chirapate getting back into the swing of things. Van Dam still trying to get out of the pack and is finally out there as the pack stretches out, which is good news for a jammer. Brest, I'm hearing penalties being called again. Can you believe this? Chirapate calling it off on the outside, but I think there's gonna be a bit of a discussion there. I think there may have been a penalty given. Okay, so the jam ref, there we go, 2 points, then extra. That was a bit of a complicated jam, to be honest. We're ending off that jam then with 58-34. There's a lot more going on, is what I'm trying to say. These are not just hit it and quit it. It's getting complicated.
No, it is getting complicated. And
Facebook style.
Yeah, what is really fun to see is the level of strategy being used by both sides. Both of these teams, even though they may have some beginners, are using a lot of strategy, good 3 walls, offense, and that is serving them both well as the Rotterdam jammer, Foxy Dizer, comes around for their scoring pass right before the Brest jammer number 395. What is their name?
Full Metal Gambit.
Full Metal Gambits.
Yeah. They
comes
that was
in.
interesting too. You saw Foxy Dizer get on the track almost just in front of the other jam. That was like a weird collision situation. The tension seems to be a bit higher in the room.
It does seem to be a bit high, and we have seen that when tensions get a bit high, when the score is really close, that is when skaters start to go to the box because they want to do so much. And
Yep,
so,
been there.
Yeah, I've been there as well. You want to do everything. You don't want to mess up, and that's when you mess up.
Yeah, so
Unfortunately.
we can tell just from here, Chirapate quite a few penalties, but doesn't matter. It's all about what you do after the counts. Latic picks it up for Brest, nicely out in front, and just so much spillage on the track.
And
I
it
don't
looks
know
like
where
they
that's
will
from.
I don't know, but they will
Don't know
be
what's
sending
happening.
someone to the box so that
Someone.
it's,
That
Hermione
someone is?
Revenger, number 88, who will be taking their turn in the box. When several people fall down, sometimes I do suspect that they just pick somebody.
Oh, I know how that feels. You do know that technically, if sometimes you don't see, you pick the person
You pick
close
the
to the ref.
closest to you? Yeah.
So don't be.
I mean, that's
don't
a
be close.
myth, but we're
That's
going
a
to
myth,
perpetuate
yeah.
the
I know,
myth.
we're just being half silly. However, when I learned how to ref, that's always been a bit. In that sense, when in doubt, leave it out. Not always apply, but I need to trust that, and we need to all trust that the refs know what they're doing, and that's why
absolutely.
positioning of the refs is actually so important. If you were to film a roller derby game from the top, it's a very, very different game. So we've got Morceur then for Brest, but it is Foxy Dizer picking it up for Rotterdam in this jam.
And what's lovely to see is yet another lead gem for Rotterdam. They have come back around to start their scoring pass as the star for Brest finally made it out. They got hit out at the front, and looking back at the Brest jammer arriving, they decide to call it Foxy Dizer scoring 3 points. So the score now is 40 for Rotterdam and 62 for Brest. There are 8 minutes and 9 seconds left on the first period.
8
of
seconds,
this game.
7 seconds, 6.
I mean, I'm being
I'm being
approximate.
silly.
It's whatever I
Being
saw at
silly.
that moment.
But that's not a ton of points, but that gives a good indication of how it's going, but it's a very tight game.
So we have number 1,000 now coming out, Chirapate, again for Brest. Coming out of the front of the pack is lead jammer, and the Rotterdam jammer pushing their way through, finally making it towards the front and able to make it out as the scoring pass starts for Chirapate. A nice hard hit there in the back of the pack, and it seems that the ref has decided that that was a forearm, and they will be going to the box for their trouble.
Yeah, and that's quite a few penalties. We'll keep you posted on that. That's a lot of energy there, but yeah, that's a bit frustrating, I think, definitely for Brest, and that's going to make a big difference in the second half.
I mean, they definitely came in hot, but they didn't hit an illegal part of the body. The ref did say that it was a forearm, so just so you know, there was no ill intent.
Oh, I believe that. Van Dam doing the rounds. Number 90 there for Rotterdam. Look at those points coming back up too, and having free reign then for the coming time. The blockers are all over that business.
Rotterdam using their train to get that offense in.
Indeed. Choo-choo.
Created choo-choo. That they did create a no pack, as there was another blocker who came into the back. So they were able to keep them as what we call a goat and create a pack at the back, letting their jammer out. Now we have number 1,000 Chirapate coming back into the back of a strong and solid triangular Rotterdam wall.
They're doing a great job with those triangles today. They're absolutely fantastic and tough.
Yes, but the Brest offense is doing really good at finding the right timing and the right place to hit so that they can get their jammer through as well.
That's true. Chirapate managed to get out for this one too as well. But the more I hear clapping, I just hear the clapping. I know that Van Dam did a great job. Everyone really happy about that here. And we have the easy announcer math for now. A 10-point difference between the two teams. That's almost nothing. It's not much.
Rotterdam just scored 20 points in that jam, 20 to 8.
Beautiful, and that's why everyone was clapping for Van Dam, and rightly so.
Yes, absolutely. Damn, Van Dam.
It's not the same kind of Van Dam as you get in Belgium.
Dam.
The same thing. Okay, there's that too.
There's that, yeah.
There's a bit of a huddle going on for whatever reason
Again,
in the middle.
at the pivot line, it's quite old school. I really like it.
You get points on the bingo card off if you say that it's old school
If you
pivot
say
line start.
old school pivot line start, that is
because
on your-
I've done those.
As on your old lady announcer roller derby
it's
bingo
the
card.
boomer announcer count. Yeah, it is. Yeah, but actually, as you know, people they get in front. They just move back to just kind of So it's kind of like not wanting to give away what your strategy actually is.
Yeah, but if we're looking here, we have two pivots with their skates on the line. That means that everybody else has to line up behind their hips.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I hope that we're
I've had
going to see
penalties.
one of them lunge
I've seen
backwards.
that on the list of things we've seen in Derby in the past decade. Can I say that? Is also the person getting a penalty because their hips are in the right place. Like
Exactly. But
that's happened. That's happened.
It used
Not
to happen
today,
more
but-
often, but
yes.
you know, it's a rule
We've
that's kind of
adapted.
fallen out of popularity, let's say. And Brest jammer number 395, Full Metal Gambit, is out as lead jammer as the Rotterdam jammer continues to push and try and get through that really solid Brest wall. Brest's been not only solid, but been able to move well laterally. We see the Rotterdam jammer taking off their star, trying to pass it to their pivot as the Brest jammer comes around for a scoring pass. smooth as ice.
Oh, I know ice. I know ice, except there's no ice here, but it's cool.
It is cool.
Nice and smooth. Nicely done. I am looking at just a whole bunch of walls, and I have to say, blockers, we look at a lot of the jammers, the blockers are doing a fantastic job trying to keep it together, but at some point, the jammer gets through, and that's what just happened there on the Brest side of things. Great work there being done by Full Metal Gambette, coming in on the inside with a little of an apex job, and everyone always claps for that, and that's rightly so. And look, they're concentrated. I really like what's going on there. Rotterdam having a hard time getting into position.
But Rotterdam's wall took a lot of effort to get their jammer out by really using all three of their blockers to create an offensive situation where they were eventually able to push their jammer out to the front.
They're trying to stretch out that pack there and give Brest a hard time, and just people falling. I think we notice it more because of the socks that they're wearing, the kind of bee socks.
Yes, the Killer Bees socks.
Oh, you
I
just
didn't
figured
really-
out? Okay,
no,
yeah.
I didn't realize why my vision was kind of blurred. It had to be.
You're the one who said it didn't look good on camera, but I think it looks great. There's no camera.
I don't know what it looks like on camera.
I'm being silly. It looks great.
But I know that
fine
it
enough.
looks like in real life, it looks like I'm losing my mind, but it's fine.
We're starting with one blocker in the box for Rotterdam. We can see that from here, so it's 3-5 start. Brest spread out for now and just going to make a hole for their jammer somewhere. Middle.
Brest Manique La Police comes in to create a hole, doing offense for their jammer. Very effective. 776 Latique is able to get out as lead, while the Rotterdam jammer serves their time. Latique still pushing through. We're looking at Rotterdam's really solid wall, though, making sure that they keep them back. It's turning well, avoiding offense well. Number 404, Runtime Terror, is doing some excellent lateral movements. We've got a nice block by number 42, Fruitcake, very focused on keeping the jammer back. Able to probably create less of a problem than they might have had by setting up a really nice and solid wall. We only got 4 points for Brest and 0 points for Rotterdam. I think that could be called a success.
Yeah,
based
that
on the
sounds
fact
good.
that they,
And the jam's got a
their
bit.
jammer.
Yeah, that too. And the jam's got a little bit longer, so people are trying something different out. So prediction is it's going to change, hopefully change quite a bit after halftime. We're going into halftime, 2 minutes and change left. Rotterdam gets lead right out of the gate. Van Dam doing the Van Dam thing that they Van Dam so well.
Right behind them, we have number 131 from Brest, Morsure, who has taken the star, is actually going through on their scoring pass. Rotterdam has decided not to call it, though they have lead, and they are continuing through for their own scoring pass.
They're doing a thing that you like, but look, by the time we tell you about it,
Running the
that's
jam.
ready to be called off. Exactly.
Now, did it work out for them?
Did it work out? Yeah, like we're all having a look.
Yes, it did, because Rotterdam is at 6 points and Brest is at 4. So that means they were able to win that jam.
Easy announcer math for you, 90 for us. 97 to 67. We started off like at 11-14 and that kind of thing, but now Brest has taken a little bit of the lead, and that is going to play in people's heads going into the 68. So 1 extra point. That is going to be. It's a very different second half of the first half.
Exactly.
So to
I
speak.
mean, we were looking at a difference of 18 points, and now we're looking at a difference of 29. That being said, the Rotterdam jammer, number 1313, has made it out as lead jammer. We'll see if they will run the jam or if they're just going to call it after getting their points. They have
One blocker. Yeah, only had one blocker in front of them. That was an easy one.
Incredibly easy for them, and Rotterdam has all 4 blockers, so it looks like the bench has decided that this is going to be a jam that they will run all the way to the end, because with a larger amount of blockers, then you're able to holds back the other jammer longer.
I mean,
They've
I wish
now
I could
decided to
jam.
call
Yeah,
it.
and I wish I could jam. There's just you jam. There's only one blocker. But actually, what it does mean is that Brest made a bunch of penalties. So, like I think this time we're gonna have a really good look at the penalties. Not to name and shame, but just to have a good feeling of how we're gonna go into the halftime, which is, by the way, right now.
Right now, we get to go and have our break right now, drink a little bit, because this is actually quite an exciting game. Only a 25-point difference. As we all know, in roller derby, 25 points is nada, nothing, zero.
So take care, and we'll see you back in about 15 minutes. 15 minutes, dans 15 minutes, on revient.
Oh, we have another jam.
We have another jam.
Though it is the end of the period, that does not necessarily mean that there isn't the opportunity
That's wonderful.
for another jam, depending on whether or not
You're right,
a
but we were
timeout was taken.
But we saw
right before
intermission.
dinner.
They said
Exactly.
intermission, and you thought I can get my popcorn,
Yeah, I thought that. Yeah,
and I could do the intermission dance.
or I could get
Fair enough.
some more food. They've got a lot of nice food upstairs.
There's
so,
fantastic stuff upstairs, but we still have one more jam to go. So let's have a good look at what's going on here. And our colleagues here on the floor said the same thing. They were already like, "Oh, let's take a break." No, we've got one more jam to go. Brest over the 100 mark at 101.76.
Of course,
And
I
Rotterdam
believe that
side?
everybody was, in essence, ready to go, and so they all kind of have to get ready to do the jam again.
I'm
and have to get reoriented.
That's psychologically the adrenaline flow is still there too, of course.
So I believe that timeout was taken at 1 second because we have 1 second put back on the clock. 1 second means another jam, like it or not.
I think we
goodness
may have
gracious.
contradictions. Yeah, goodness. Yeah, something. So we don't quite. So we just heard a end of. Oh, let's talk about facts. We just heard end of the half, but we don't know how we're going to go now. So everyone's trying to figure it out.
Oh no, I actually think that was an official timeout, and so I believe.
How dare you?
Yeah, I'm sorry. But
No, I'm kidding.
So I believe that, again, everyone is trying to get reoriented and figure out what's going to happen.
You know what's going to happen is how we'd like to know how it's going to happen in all of life. Reminder: we are going to go for another. We're going to go for another one, and we still have one more game today coming up later.
So here we go. We have Rotterdam coming out with lead jammer right from the bat because they only had 2 Brest blockers to come up against. So that means Foxy Dizer has the opportunity to get a lot of scoring passes. But the Brest jammer has come out now, and they will also be trying to score. So Phil Metal Gombet is trying to come back and score as much as possible, and does an apex jump. But do they do it in time?
That is the question. Let's
We
have a
know
look.
that Rotterdam has gotten 4 points, but that apex jump earned them 3 points for Brest right at the last whistle.
That's beautiful, and we have a discussion. The jam refs having a good look too to see if everything's all copacetic.
Okay, enthusiasm.
Are we at halftime now?
We are introducing.
And there we
now
are.
officially at half.
Wonderful. 104 for Brest, 84 Rotterdam, and we'll be back in about 14 minutes. So come back and see us.
I see that. Guys, what's going on? An official review is happening, so in dramatic style, we now have to
Oh my goodness gracious. So
You
we're back.
motherfucking teasers.
We're back. Be careful what you say, Nasty. I turned the mic on. It's okay. Nasty didn't know. It's all my fault. All hate should go towards me. But I just need to let you know really quick that there is an official review going on. So that means that it is not officially halftime. And even though Lamesh Tsitse, who is one of the best GM timers I have ever known in the history of roller derby, whistled that rolling whistle for halftime, and I trusted them 100%, well, that's what you get for idolizing someone too much. Yeah. So now we've got Exterminate, and we also have Nasty Moves going out into the infield, because we would very much like to know not only what the penalties look like, so we can get you some of that information maybe after the halftime, but also to kind of find out what this official review is going to be, and if the result of the official review will be another jam. Woo! It probably won't, but I just like to keep the suspense going if I can. So the thing is that we did have the okay, so I'm listening to our in-house announcers, and our in-house announcers have said that on that last apex jump from Brest, that the question is whether or not the two blockers that were in the box should actually be counted as a point, whether or not that first point was actually considered a point or not, because that's the reason that they got 3 points, was from those two blockers in the box. So it would have been a total of 3 points, but only if they scored 1 point on that apex jump. That was the question, and the question has been answered. Yes, indeed, they did. Now we will get back to our halftime show. I hope you have enjoyed a bit of official timeout fun. See you soon.
Hello and welcome back to the second half of a wonderful game between Rotterdam Roller Derby Killer Bees and BMO
La Colere de Brest.
La Colere de Brest. La Colere de Brest BMO Roller Derby. And we promised we would do a little bit in French. I thought I'd introduce first in English just to repeat what we were saying. I mentioned that, I mentioned it properly. Colere de Brest playing in purple, and the Killer Bees playing in green with the Killer Bees socks, so that's easy to say. And because we know and we hope that there's people from France, on espère qu'il y a des gens français qui nous regardent aujourd'hui, alors on va faire un ou deux jams en français, moi et Dark Pistol, et je vais laisser la parole à Dark Pistol pour commencer.
Alors, nous avons un score assez bien serré entre Brest et Rotterdam, avec Rotterdam à 80 points et Brest à 104. On s'aligne sur la ligne de jam pour commencer cette deuxième mi-temps avec le numéro 13 de Rotterdam, Rebecca Van Gorgen, et le numéro 13-12, Louisa Destroya, je pense. Hein? Oui. Non, c'est Morsure, c'est 131, 1-3-1 de Brest qui est en train de gagner le lead. C'est le lead jammeuse pour Brest pour ce premier jam de la deuxième mi-temps avec 13-13 qui est en train de se battre pour sortir du pack, toujours derrière un des bloqueurs qui a tombé et l'a laissé passer, mais pas exprès, hein, c'était juste...
C'est jamais exprès.
Par hasard, mais c'est pas par hasard, c'est par force. C'est parce qu'on joue avec tellement de force et tellement de puissance et de concentration avec le 13-13 qui est en train de faire son deuxième passage marquant, en train de gagner des points pendant que Morsure se bat à l'arrière aussi sur son passage marquant. On va voir qui va gagner ce jam dont tout le monde est en train de tout donner. Le numéro 2, 6, 3
de Serge de Rotterdam en train de mener son pack pour faire en sorte de tout bloquer. Donc 13-13, le jammereuse de Rotterdam s'envoie en boîte de pénalité, en prison comme on dit. Alors on va commencer notre prochain jam avec un power jam pour Brest.
C'est super intéressant tout ça. On regarde les points. Brest est toujours à l'avance avec 112 contre 83 pour Rotterdam. Et là, ça va être très important. On a un peu plus de pénalités. On a quand même, Brest prend quand même le lead. Ça se passe très, très, très bien. Et ça, c'est Chirapaté qui a quand même quelques pénalités, mais on a eu le temps de se reposer pour voir comment on va réagir dans un deuxième temps. Et Rotterdam rend la vie difficile.
Absolument. Rotterdam en train de chasser le jammereuse jusqu'à l'avant du pack pour s'assurer que Yel ne sort pas, mais tant pis, Yel est sorti. Numéro 1000, Chirapaté, encore sur un autre passage marquant, encore 4 points. Maintenant, on a le retour du jammereuse de Rotterdam, numéro 13, Rebecca Van Gorgen, qui est quand même en train de se battre, mais contre un mur de badass, particulièrement le numéro 13-12 dont je parlais avant, Louisa Destroya, un bloqueuse d'enfer. Maintenant, on arrive à la fin du jam avec Chirapaté numéro 1000 qui a pu marquer encore 12 points sur ce jam avec 0 point marqué par Rotterdam.
Et c'est ça qui fait une grande différence. 12 points, c'est beaucoup dans un jam et 0 points, c'est pas très, très sympathique pour Rotterdam.
C'est pas terrible.
C'est pas terrible. Mais l'idée, c'est que Rotterdam, maintenant, doit quand même essayer de reprendre le temps perdu et d'arriver à l'égalité et rejoindre Brest. On va voir comment ça va se dérouler. Et Brest prend encore le devant dans ce jam, mais les deux jammers sont sortis et on va voir, peut-être ça va être un jam très court. On va regarder, les deux jammers arrivent dans le pack, ça fait boum. Brest se fait recycler vers l'arrière et j'entends plein de sifflages partout.
Oui, j'ai vu le numéro 6699 qui a pris une pénalité avec un autre bloqueuse de Brest et encore un troisième qui est en file d'attente pour la boîte de pénalité. Alors du coup, ça laisse 2 bloquereuses sur le track pour Brest contre 4 bloquereuses pour Rotterdam. On voit que les 2 jammereuses sont en train de faire leur passage marquant et un beau saut d'apex de notre jammereuse de Brest qui marque beaucoup de points sur ce saut et donc décide de coller ou d'appeler la fin du jam avec une différentielle de points là 11 pour Rotterdam, 8 pour le moment de ce que je vois pour Brest. Avec un score donc de 132 pour Brest et 94 pour Rotterdam ou bien 94.
Well, that was fun. We'll get back to you in English with all of that. We taking off again, and not a real false start, but we're still all stuck in there. We're having a look. We need a jammer. We've got a lead, and it's going to be Latic, 776 for Brest, picking that up. And there's a whole lot of blocking going on there as Rotterdam's jammer being recycled.
Latic also around for another scoring pass as number 88 Hermione Revenger, who has actually been both blocking and jamming during this game, doing some pretty good blocking as well, is coming around for their own scoring pass. 776 has now been called for a penalty. That gives Rotterdam a power jam, and number 88 will be now taking several turns around the track, except for they have now been called for a penalty. Therefore, we will do a little jammer do-si-do. we'll have one jammer sit down, the other one will stand up and come back onto the track. This will now be, again, a scoring pass because we are in the middle of the jam. Number 776 Latique dancing through the inside, but hit out by number 713.
Good
Billy.
takeouts. Did someone
Nice.
order takeout? That was actually very good. A little bit more penalties. Both teams trying to figure each other out still, and however, little bit of frustration. Nice to watch. Brest trying to get through. Everyone just pulling all the stops, and I think that's going to amount to maybe more penalties, or at least longer jams, which is completely different than what we saw in the first half.
Exactly, but whenever you have a jammer going to the box, especially the lead jammer, that creates your 2-minute jam situation. And of course, that is very tiring for the
Yes.
jammer who has to live through that.
You're absolutely right. The jam is going to end magically as I say this, but I knew that was going to happen. Everyone loving it here too. We're having a great time today. We still have one more game coming up later on, by the way. The last game of the day will be at 5:30. You'll get to see Cologne Roller Derby Graveyard Queens are taking it up against Roller Derby Brest Tout Étoile. So it'll be the second game of the day for both of those teams.
And I don't know if you're looking at the score, but we're definitely creeping up on the century mark for Rotterdam, which is a great place to be. And Brest is leading with 46 points. So there's still a lot of fight to be had. As I say that, again, number 131, La Morsure, bites hard and gets through with with lead jammer. First jammer, premier jammer. Plastic Patrick has now entered my soul, and I cannot get them out.
You can't get them out. They're lovely people. 4 points on the board there for Brest. Brest doing the rounds, and Rotterdam trying to figure it all out too in the front. Blockers are just really busy with each other. Or goed bezig, but still very, very busy.
Yeah, goed bezig.
Crowded up. Yeah, I mean it's a whirlwind of colors in front of us. Star pass, le passage de l'étoile, as we like to say in French, for Rotterdam. But by the time you do that, the jam is called.
The jammer has not decided to run the jam as I would like. I like them to run the jam.
You like runny jam.
I like runny jam, and I like it when it gets on the floor and then the dog gets to lick it up and everyone's happy.
La confiture. There we go. Here we go, everyone listening in to us. I'm very happy. We're doing our best over here. It was a bit tough starting up, but we are here with the stream. We hope you're enjoying it. We're doing our best.
I think we're doing a great job. That being said, we have Rotterdam pulling their jammer through to the front, trying to get an actual great offense to be pulled off, and it did work. Rotterdam is not only in lead jammer position, but the Brest jammer has now been called for a penalty and will be sitting in the box for a full 30 seconds, barring any other penalty.
Yeah, Foxy Dizer, though, doing it to it through the middle, trying to get around that last blocker, and they stayed in bounds, too. That was, the crowd told us that, but that was touch and go there for a few milliseconds. Foxy Dizer coming in. Yeah,
we've got a signal for an offense, so it looks like they're trying to get their timing together, which is really great. Nice to see a teammate being supported by their full four wall.
It's always fun to have everybody on track. That's costing Brest a little bit. However, Brest getting a lot of points, obviously, but every once in a while, a lot of blockers in the box. Rotterdam trying to make good on that. Foxy Dizer still stuck in pack, but we have the other jammer doing around. Chirapate
coming around for their first scoring pass as they come out of the box where they were on their initial pass. They were not able to make any points as Rotterdam did decide to call, as they were definitely ahead. That was an 8-0 jam for Rotterdam. They've passed the century mark now, 105 to 151. Again, 46 points is the difference. This is not very much.
I've got a story for you. Do you know what we call a female hamster in French? Do you know what a female hamster is in French?
No, I
Amsterdam. Okay, that was it. It's not a Rotterdam joke. Yeah. There we go. That was a bet. Everyone excited though. Brest is back in the lead. However, both jammers are out, so that we may be looking at a fast jam. Brest trying to get out there on the outside, And, by the time we say that, they've called it off. So they know people have eyes in the back of their head here. They need to find out what's going on behind them, and they're doing that wonderfully.
They are very aware. I've noticed that the Brest jammers are very aware of the points that they're marking, making sure that they squeeze just even one or two out and then call it off before the Rotterdam jammer comes
It's a reset moment. It's like poker, there's not a joke here. You know your cards are bad, you fold them, but then you get chance to get really fantastic new cards. There we go.
So we have 1-3-1-3 from Rotterdam and number 7-7-6 from Brest. This is a matchup we have seen quite a lot. Brest, Latique coming out as lead jammer as Rebecca Van Gorgen pushes their way through, makes it, but only after Latique has gone through for their passage marquant for their scoring pass. They will, of course, call it because they don't want to lose any points to Rotterdam, therefore making this a 4-0 jam.
We just know they're going to call it off, but we don't know they're going to call it off. Something weird could happen, so we have to look at it. But we are looking at the teams now know each other well. They know what's going on, and they're trying to balance each other out. Brest in the lead with 157 points. Brest à l'avance de tout le monde, pour l'instant 147 points. 105 points for Rotterdam, 105 points pour Rotterdam.
On a un mini pack sur le track pour Brest, en sous-effectif seulement 2 bloqueurs, only 2 blockers for Brest and 4 blockers for Rotterdam. That puts them in a position to where they could get lead jammer. And it seems actually that though both jammers have come out of the pack at exactly the same time, it is Brest that is won the lead, and we will see if the closeness of their opponent will cause them to call it. It indeed does.
Oh, that was wonderful.
Give them incentive to do such a thing.
Foxy Dicer decided to take the same line.
Yeah, stay right on their tail,
and
make
sit
sure
on their
that
tail. That was really, that's
that
kind of
gave them some
interesting.
pressure.
Yeah. And they touched each other. I mean, that sounds really weird. But they could have hit each other. They still try to run it a bit longer, the way you like it.
I do like it. But, just so you all know, in roller derby, if you play the game of roller derby, the consent to be touched is implied.
Good point. Absolutely good point.
Not within the rules of the WFTDA rule book,
That's true.
of course.
Yes,
but
of course.
Just so you know.
That's very cool. Yeah, it's a contact sport. Good point. Oh, we had a quick timeout there too, as well.
I think the officials had to get themselves together for a second, but we are back on track.
Shira Pate for Rotterdam. I mean for Brest, but I'm looking at two things at once. Rotterdam. Hermione Revenger is out, is now having the lead too as well, going through for a scoring pass, a passage marquant, and is meeting the big wall of Brest. And the city of Brest has a wall too, and it keeps the ocean away. That's kind of the feeling behind it. And that was the jam.
Now, if we look at that, Brest got 4 and Rotterdam got 3 points. So, unfortunately, Rotterdam did lose the jam, but they did win lead jammers. So that means that they are being quite effective at getting some more leads in this game, which we really like to see.
Yeah.
I really do want to talk about the offense on both sides. Very focused, really trying to get their jammers out. We see it going into both walls simultaneously. This time it has worked out in Brest's favor with number 395 Full Metal Gambets out as lead jammer, and Rebecca Van Gorgen coming out just after them. Number 395 getting hit out by the Surge, number 263. A force on this track. Also being chased down by number 14, but tant pis pour toi. The Brest jammer still gets out and scores more points, while Rebecca is still trying to get through. As I say that, we saw a beautiful mini apex jump. Unfortunately, it wasn't as successful as they probably would have wanted it to be, but again, that's because of number 14, Bad Seagull, being right on that inside
all
line.
over it, all over the business there. Yeah, absolutely. Brest, though, not flinching, continuing on, though, picking up 4 more points, but that was some very good work again by Rotterdam. Rotterdam jamming, not going so well. Still a lot of thrills and spills here on the track. Brest trying to keep the concentration with a nice pirouette on the outside as that jam ends.
And I believe for Rebecca Van Gongen, that was just their first scoring pass, so they got 4 points, whereas Brest was able to score 11. So we are seeing that score differential start to increase slightly.
That means Brest is keeping the pressure on, which is really nice, and Rotterdam, like you said, getting a little bit more lead, and when they do get lead, making more points, so watching out if they run the jam long, and if they run the jam short, they may not get the lead the next jam, so it's a bit difficult.
So now exactly what they wanted, number 03 Foxy Dizer is able to get out for the lead jammer after an excellent offense from their wall. They then slip back through, score 4 more points as the Brest jammer is behind them. We are now calling this jam because we do have a fallen skater. We will come back to you a little bit later. We'll go ahead and talk to you about some of the games that we have on the next 2 days, because we not only have another game today at 5:30 of Cologne Roller Derby Graveyard Queens versus Roller Derby Brest Toute Étoile, which should be a great game, but we also have several games tomorrow. You can start watching as of 9 a.m. Rorpat Roller Derby versus Cologne Roller Derby Graveyard Queens, which should be another great game. Game 6 will be the Death Row Honeys versus the Toute Étoile. Game 7, Parliament of Pain. Oh, that's a fun game. I love watching Parliament of Pain versus the
Pop,
Rock.
Gasterop.
Yeah, pop, Gasterop.
That's going to be a lot of fun against
the
their good
Rock
old
City
friends
Rollers.
from the Rock City Rollers.
And then the last game of the day, I'm hoping that will be the central game, of course, is right before the party, is the Death Row Honeys versus Rorpat Roller Derby. I am having so much trouble
It's okay.
pronouncing that word.
Interestingly enough, though, for tomorrow, the first game, Ruhrport Roller Derby, Cologne Roller Derby, 2 German teams, they know each other quite well, so that's going to it's going to be super interesting on the track. And then, as you mentioned, the game that will be at 2 o'clock tomorrow, Den Haag, so the Hague game against Eindhoven, again, friendly fire. So we're going to see all kinds of different things tomorrow. So that's actually quite a lot of different teams, quite an interesting tournament. Nice mix and match, not a round robin as you normally would see, but you get to see a lot of different things.
Yeah, it looks like really the organizers of this tournament tried to make sure that everybody got to play everybody. That is not easy to do. There's 1 track here, not 2 tracks. That means that they have to stack all of the games on top of each other, and that teams have to play 2 games a day sometimes, which, as we know, is really tiring.
It's worse if you wear a jersey that's got to play more games too as well.
Yeah, especially if you don't get to change your color. You have to wear the same one. Not only that, your pads. You ever
I know. Yes.
Your pads in the morning, you soak them through, and then you have to put them back on in the afternoon.
Yep. And what I found out,
the smell, it's the.
but let me tell you,
sponge.
let me tell you a fun fact. We do realize that sports pads, whatnot, you get sweats, but it's actually in pads. It's 6 different types of bacteria.
Oh yeah, I know.
Like for real.
Yeah, there was
like
actually
it's for
a study
real.
done on that.
Yeah, I know. And
yeah.
I read it, and that's when I decided. Though I got very regular on cleaning my pads, but,
but don't
I can't
you know
believe we're
that-
saying that.
No,
true.
it's
Especially
healthy.
with the tournament. Yeah, of course it's healthy.
Especially with the
No, of
tournament, and
course.
actually each team has their own community of bacteria in the pads,
Yeah.
and that is one
Yes,
of the
that's true.
reasons why. After a time, you don't smell your teammates' pads anymore, but whenever you go to a tournament, they start to stink. It's because you start exchanging bacteria
Because you touch each
with
other,
other
or you
communities of
push it. Yeah,
bacteria.
that's absolutely true. And
so it
that
has
was
a
actually kind
different
of strange. Yeah, that is actually kind of strange. And
It sounds like we read the same study.
we read the same stuff too. But that comes in your case from knowing the pharmaceutical industry, and in my case, always seem to have doctors in my team that know this kind of stuff. So that's also interesting. However, as soon as we're human beings, if we smell something that doesn't smell good, we think it's actually kind of wrong or whatnot.
It's just somebody else's
That's the way it goes.
community of bacteria. It's not necessarily a bad thing.
Back to roller derby. We're still waiting to make sure of taking care of one of the down skaters for now. The atmosphere is actually kind of fun here today. A lot of parents. We had a little bit of a halftime show with some dancing here, so we're doing really well. Also interesting, something that doesn't happen very often, I have to point out. No, we're not in Rotterdam. We're actually in The Hague, but The Hague luckily have their own venue that they can use. Rotterdam's always been a bit more difficult, but that just kind of shows the community spirit too, going this weekend and having one team organize things for another team. However, having said that, we will see The Hague, so the Parliament of Pain, playing tomorrow. So that's good too as well.
That's excellent, and we did talk about this a bit earlier, but this tournament is one of the first tournaments where the games between WFTDA teams that can be sanctioned are sanctioned.
Yeah.
So that means that
Nice.
every WFTDA member team is playing a sanctioned game both today and tomorrow. Excellent for the new structure, which is now regional, which means that there will be a regional championship in 2024. And in order to qualify for that regional championship, you need to play at least 5 games against
Regional, someone in the
someone
region,
in
yes.
your region, which
Yeah.
it just encourages more gameplay in Europe instead of having European teams at a high level
Always having to go
go
to the United
US.
States, yeah. And we saw that obviously with Antwerp. I remember when you guys went there. I believe Amsterdam, my former team, had a chance to do that, but it didn't quite work out. And the other thing too, and maybe not to get too technical, but we had, for example, a situation. I won't mention the tournament necessarily, but where 2 Scandinavian teams went to the U.S. to play each other. Which is kind of a bit ridiculous, to be honest. I mean, interesting, you're a different venue, but that's not the way it should be. And again, that's very complicated. The structures of other sports, very, very different than roller derby, but roller derby is going to take more time to structure itself in that way. But we're very lucky in Europe. Again, Australia has these issues too. Australia is a very big country and a continent, so they have to travel a lot, even within the country, to do that. But Europe has just a lot of different people, and it's always been very difficult to organize that. It's changing for the better, but it's still a bit strange, because we used to be in the kind of miscellaneous section for the longest time.
Yeah, no, it used to be that
And you
Europe
should know that as
Yeah.
having played for Paris.
Yeah,
to be
having
honest.
I played for Paris, and we went to the United
Yeah, I
States
remember
as
that.
well in order to gain rankings, and that, again has afforded Paris the ability to now go up into the at the time it was
I
just
remember.
playing math. We were just playing math, but whenever Paris went to Miami, that was also when Rainy City went to Miami.
Yeah,
Actually,
exactly,
We played
yeah.
in a large tournament with a lot of European teams. Rainy City did a nice little list of how European teams fared against American teams. It showed the points differential. It was
pretty
astounding.
interesting. Yes, it was. Yeah, I remember that too as well. I was very lucky. In 2018, I had the chance to. I was in Montreal, and Manchester was there too, Rainy City, and it was really interesting. There's also a thing of Americans are like, oh, we've been doing this for a long time. It doesn't matter which teams. Obviously, there's some beautiful, fantastic teams, but being beaten by a European team was also a little bit difficult for, I would say, Canadian teams as well. They had a bit of a hard time with that. So it's very difficult to equalize all of that.
I don't
It's
know.
a long story, but that still needs to be equalized a little bit.
I do want to give a shout out to Ottawa, because when Antwerp Roller Derby went to play Ottawa, some of the kindest, most beautiful people I have ever met.
How nice.
It was an amazing game and really good sportsmanship. They took that loss like a champ.
It happens. No, that's perfectly fine.
And
I'm
they-
happy to hear that about my home country. So
Yeah,
that's good.
they did a lot to help us as well. They helped Belgian Roller Derby because we came back to Europe and shared our ranking points with the rest of the European leagues that didn't have the money to go over to the United States.
The first year of skate around that was held in Namur, or Floref, if you want to be very, very technical about it, there was a team from Albany, New York, and they got creamed by Amsterdam, not because they were bad, just because they played at a different level. But they really, they won the after party because they started after party right after their game. So they were like, this is Belgian beer, it's way stronger, and they partied. That's all I can say. It was lovely. The respect was there. They learned more. They had a better game when they played, but the biggest thing was not like we were better and they weren't. It was more the shock, the level. They didn't know. They really did not know what they were coming up against.
Yes, absolutely, and I understand that because it's
the continent of the Americas. If we just talk about North America, not even Latin America, South America, we just talk about North
Or even
America,
Mexico.
Central America.
Yeah, of course.
We just talk about North America. That is a big surface area to try and cover.
It's insane, I know.
And then after that, to try and come over to Europe, that's huge.
Let me give you another example. We have Junior Roller Derby coming up this July in France, and the Canadian team only comes from one province. I mean, you can't have children from 4,000, and I mean 4,000 kilometers across the country, jam with you. It doesn't work. So that's also very interesting to see the differences. We are getting back on track slowly but surely. Just a reminder, 174 for Brest, 118 for Rotterdam, and we're off to the races.
We have number 88, one of my favorite jammers right now. And I said that, but then I can't remember their name. It's Hermione, that's why. It's Hermione Revenger, who has come out as lead jammer. In the meantime, we have Latique coming around on their behinds. And the bench is calling for Hermione Revenger to call it before Latique scores any points. But unfortunately, we have what I like to call a 0-0 jam.
A zero-sum game.
a zero-sum game. Very well
no,
said.
That's
it
actually
just means
negative. Yeah, sorry.
Both of them have scored 4 points, which is exactly the same, and nothing changes because nothing changes. It happens so fast.
Yeah, and that is actually really difficult. That you're trying really hard to get in there, and then the other person behind you is doing the same thing, and exactly the same. So yeah, we're gonna have. Foxy Dicer and Chirapate up against each other, and I'm waiting for it, and it's there. A little bit of a spill, but Brest is in the lead, so Chirapate having a really good time. I just heard a very big penalty. I'm going to try and ignore it, and I can't ignore it. You know why? Because that means it's a super jam for Brest. Power jam for Brest. Time to pick up a lot of points, so we're going to hurry it up. That's 4, and we're heading towards the 200. That's another passage coming in, lots of walls. Oh, Brest trying to get all in the business and making a free spot there on the outside. That was really, really well done.
That was a smooth operator. Trying to get that offense to work every time is not easy because the front wall tends to speed up, and as it does, it's very hard to place your offense in an effective way, so that was really good for them. So now what they've decided to do in order to avoid having that wall go forward is wait for their jammer to engage. Now they're doing offense as they set up again for defense, because the Rotterdam jammer has come through and made it through quite quickly actually, but then is recycled from the front. So it looks like we're coming in for yet another scoring pass for Brest as the Rotterdam jammer again pushes through. I'm going to mention one more time, number 1312, Louisa Destroya, a very strong blocker, always on that last line of defense, le dernier rideau, comme on dit.
Oh mon Dieu.
Really, no, mais c'est vrai, hein? And so doing a really, really good job at making sure that they save the points or save that jam as much as they can. So I'd like to congratulate them on their good work.
Well, absolutely well put, and honestly, that gave both teams a break. It's not the way we want to have a break, but player was well taken care of, but then the teams had time. Yeah, for the adrenaline makes a difference, but they had time to kind of figure things out. So we've got 2 jammers in the pack, and we're waiting for that lead to find out what else is going on. Oh, I see some interesting things. Rotterdam picking that up, but both jammers are out. It's beautifully done. Oh, it's the back and the front thing. Let's have a good look.
Rebecca Van Gorgen is the lead jammer, but was recycled a bit, or the baby got 8. So that means they were lead jammer. Oh no, it's called eating the baby.
No, it's eating the baby when you recycle them all the way back for 5 points.
You don't have to do that. You can just recycle them.
Oh, you're too generous. You're too
generous.
generous.
I am generous, especially when it comes to baby eating.
Oh my, okay.
Regardless, at the end of the day, that was a 0-0 jam. Truly, only 2 potatoes.
Yeah, not a lot of,
and
it's a lot of work.
Hot.
Yeah, a lot of work. Yeah, hot potatoes, patate chaude. No one wants that. We're all jammed up in the front. We've got 1 blocker down for Rotterdam, but Rotterdam picking it up. Beautiful work there. Hermione Revenger is around. That's making everyone happy. Brest still stuck in traffic. Rotterdam not making it easy, but as I say that, we've got Jammers out, Latik is out, and Hermina is in there for the, gets a back block. Power jam for Brest. Oh my, oh my.
Well, now we get to see how Brest does with their organized offense. Normally, they're pretty good at it. Unfortunately, we see that their jammer, number 776, Latik, has been sent to the box for a low block. It looked to me like that skater did fall down and unfortunately caused somebody else to fall down with their feet.
Yep.
So again, you're responsible for everything that you do on the track, even while you fall down. So even though it's not intentional, we're not trying to hurt anybody, it's still a penalty and you still have to go to the bad skater box for it.
Both jammers know on track, Brest in the back, Rotterdam in the front, Rotterdam picking up 4 more points, and Rotterdam needs those points right now to get a little bit up in Brest's business, which is not working out. By the time Rotterdam makes 4 points, Brest picks up 4 more points, and there's a lot of oohing and awing in here.
Quite a big fall there.
Quite a big fall
After
too.
a really nice hit from number 68.
Yeah. Oh, I can't believe it. Oh, that's one blocker down. That's good. Latik bringing Brest over the 200 mark and is not finished. We still got about 10 seconds left on this jam. This is super exciting.
Yeah, but there we go. I want to talk about number 68 again because they, 007, who should have a number of 007, but we'll talk about that with them later. Again, hit that Rotterdam jammer out as the last resort, but really did it cleanly on the inside. Everything was just super smooth, but it was a really hard hit. Really nice to see.
You want to talk about 007? I've got a good one for you. Yesterday, I went to a James Bond music concert. So 007, James Bond. So
007.
007.
It was not stirred.
People did not want to leave the concert. I had never seen a big band concert where people didn't want to leave. It was fantastic. But it has nothing to do with roller derby. No, actually it does. I was there with someone who used to play roller derby, so there you go. But fair enough, Brest out in the front. For now, that's Morceur back on track and coming in for another round of hits.
That being said, we have our Rotterdam jammer who is now a passing star to number 14, Bad Seagull. Bad Seagull trying to make it through, whilst number 131, Morceur, comes around for yet another scoring pass. However, the box is starting to fill up with Brest blockers. So they're not the best blockers, they're Brest blockers. And that gives Rotterdam the opportunity with a higher differential of blockers to be able to go in and score points. So they really need to take advantage of every second that those blockers are in the box. And that's exactly what they're doing, but we see both jammers really hammering their way around and trying to score points. As I say that, neither of them make it because the jam is over.
4 more points there on the board, however, for Brest in that last bit and none for Rotterdam. Rotterdam trying to make a dent in that, but Brest is very much out in front. Making sure the ocean doesn't come crashing in Western France. Interesting fact too as well, you can't see it, but we have a Breton flag here. And interestingly enough, all the French people know what that means, including you that just made the thumbs and including me. But I had to explain what the flag was to people, so that was quite interesting. We have flags too.
Hermine!
There we go.
Hermine!
I know it's annoying. But
It's okay. No, we have our wonderful tournament head announcer, Loud and Queer, telling us we're doing a good job. So we want to believe that that's actually true. And thank you very much for anyone putting up with us today too. We've had here and there some issues, but the derby's been solid.
The derby has been solid. The organization has been great. These refs, these officials, these NSOs, excellent, excellent, excellent. Some top-notch people. And every time that I am in the Netherlands, that I'm in Belgium, or that I'm in Germany, and I see just the level of officials that we have, a lot of them are also here from France. it's crazy. I have seen these people around for years and years and years.
I missed a few people too
8
as
years.
well. Yeah.
Some of them we miss. I know Dire Wolf will be here tomorrow. Everyone's really
Oh,
excited
really?
about that. Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Everyone's super excited
I
about
do
seeing
believe-
Dire Wolf and his golden glasses.
Oh yes, I've heard about that too. I do believe one of the refs we had here today as well. We had Gauthier, and although he's French, I believe he still lives in Sweden. So if he came in from Sweden, that's actually quite far. Very international today, and a little bit of everything.
And now we have the Brest 1000, Sherapate, who got out of the pack first, was called lead, but the outside pack ref notified the jam ref that they did indeed cut. So now it's just a question, did they get the lead before they got the cut? Because if so, then that would be a no-lead 2-minute jam. We'll have to see. We're waiting for the Rotterdam jammer to get out of the pack, because normally they would be the one to get lead, and unless of course the lead is closed. And because I am not on the inside of the track, I can't tell you one way or the
We're
other.
looking at that. I'm looking at that with you. I was looking at the scoreboard at the same time
Yeah,
to
there's
see
no
that.
indication of a lead
You're
jammer,
right,
so
yeah.
that means that lead is still open. Normally, that means that lead is still open. I can't promise you anything. You never know. That being said, we've still got a lot of work going on. It looks like Rotterdam is trying to create the pack at the back. Their jammer got out, so now Rotterdam is lead jammer, but Sherapate is having none of it. Sherapate is coming up and trying to force the call, which is exactly what they do by putting on the afterburners.
The afterburners, I wish I had those on my skates. We'd skate a lot faster. But again, just good awareness. Maybe not fair. These two teams are not the first teams in their league, but doesn't matter. I wouldn't have known, and I don't care. I think that the awareness on the track is really good. I'm seeing a lot of action. And also very important too, once people get separated on track or whatever, the faster they get back together, it means that they know what they're doing and that they're working hard at it.
All right, so now we have Brest jammer number 395, Full Metal Gambette, who has gotten through for a lead jammer. The star has fallen off of the head of the jammer, Foxy Dizer, who does not realize it and is now going around the track. Thankfully, they still have their initial pass, but unfortunately, now that they are coming through the pack without the star on their head, they cannot score points. They do pick the star back up, so that's not a problem. I believe they picked it back up from their pivot. That being said, their pivot is going to the box for maybe some unrelated penalty. Who knows? But that being said, Foxy Dizer now with the star on their head is indeed scoring points, as well as the Brest jammer Full Metal Gambette. Full Metal Gambette calls it because I think on both benches there may be a little bit of confusion as to initial passes and scores. But if I was correct, and it seems that I do remember how to jam ref, the score was indeed 4 for Rotterdam and 8 for Brest, meaning that, the initial pass counted, and when they finally put the star back on their head, they were scoring points. They got their 4.
Yeah, it's like we put the points in our pocket, and I was looking at Whippin' Red Siren, who's coaching, who's a player and announcer and a wonderful person doing all kinds of things, but you could tell they were wondering what's going on with that star pass as well. Rotterdam picking up the lead for this one. It's your friend and mine, Hermione Revenger. And let's see, both jammers. Latik is there too. Rotterdam coming in for a scoring pass and is getting the business from Brest and decides to just call it off, not taking any chances. Interesting. That means 3 points on the board, but no points then for Brest. Quick call off.
Yeah,
I remember those.
Yeah, no, it's been a while since we've had them, because it wasn't since the beginning of the game that we've actually been having them. That being said, that might be because both teams are getting a little bit more tired, which is absolutely normal. This has been intense. This has been full speed. This has been offense. This has been defense, and it is still going on. It is not over yet. There's 1 minute left in the game. We've got the Brest jammer that's pushing against the front of that Rotterdam pack, is able to break it apart, and Latik gets the lead gem once again at the I'm sorry, is that Latik?
Yeah, it's
No,
Morsure.
no,
We've
it's
got
Morsure.
there.
It's Morsure. I'm so sorry. Je me suis perdue entre les deux. That being said, Morsure dances on there, toe stops on the outside line, is able to get through for a scoring pass. During that time, we have Rebecca trying to pull through and just get out of the pack. We have some friendly fire where Morsure hits their own blocker down to the ground. Apparently, number
They were going to the
6699
box,
was
yeah.
already on their
Yeah.
way to the box, so they just presented some sort of
Punishment.
obstacle.
I thought I would say that, yeah.
Yes, you went to the box, and now you must get hit by your jam.
Oh, but they smiled at each other. I mean, it's just inconvenient. You're trying to do what you want. There is an official review or official timeout, team timeout. I'm sorry, I'm saying them all at the same time. Team timeout, everything, everywhere, all at once from Rotterdam.
That was an excellent movie and deserved all the Oscars that it got, by the way.
Yay, Michel, yay.
Who are you?
229, 141, hard work. Both teams still putting the elbow grease in. But Brest very much comfortably in front. And how many, Dark Pistol, tell me how many minutes we have left?
We have 3 seconds left.
But how many minutes in the halftime? Can you see that?
How many minutes in the
Left in
halftime?
the rest of the game.
3 seconds.
Oh.
There's 3 seconds left.
Oh,
When I
okay.
said 3 seconds, I meant
You
there's
were
3 seconds
you were
left.
like
I'm
it
not
wasn't
kidding.
a euphemism. You were serious.
No, yes. As a
Oh my
matter of
God.
fact, I believe that team timeout was taken by Rotterdam so that they could get one last jam. Yeah. On va faire ce dernier jam en français pour nos spectateurs francophones, pour le pays de Brest, pour les Bretons et pour les Néerlandais. Maintenant, nous avons le jammer de Brest, numéro 131, Morsure. Pardon, c'est numéro 1000, c'est Charapaté qui prend le lead et qui est maintenant en train de faire son premier passage marquant pendant que Foxy Dizer, numéro 03 de Rotterdam, est en poursuite.
Brest arrive dans le pack en premier, essaie de faire le tour, mais ça fonctionne pas très bien. J'ai même vu un peu de pirouette. Il n'y avait pas beaucoup de temps pour faire grand-chose. Par contre, tout le monde est très, très, très content. Surtout du côté de Brest, 3 points de plus pour Rotterdam. Mais malheureusement, on est arrivé à la fin de cette partie avec un score pas encore officiel, non officiel pour l'instant. 2,31 pour Brest, 144 de Rotterdam. Bien sûr, Brest va gagner, mais il faut quand même avoir tous les détails avant de pouvoir vous dire que c'est officiel.
C'est une jolie bataille des deux côtés et on les remercie pour cette performance d'enfer. Thank you so much for watching, because even though the final score is 144 for Rotterdam and 231 for Brest, we hope that you enjoyed this game. We certainly did. I've never seen so much passion coming even from the fans.
They were really in
they
for
were really
it.
into it.
Yeah, they're more
for
awake
B
now.
teams. B teams are actually the
I don't
heart
call them
and
B teams
soul.
anymore. They're
No,
the
no,
killer
no.
bees, but the B teams, as you say.
Absolutely.
I know, because I know what it's like to play on one. One thing I wanted to mention,
They're the
that's
heart and
2
soul of the
wins.
league.
Heart and soul of the league. I feel you. That's 2 wins for BMO Roller Derby.
That's true. That league has now won 2 games on the day.